Oh, thank you. Can you hear me now? Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me now? Yeah, okay. I had it on mute. That's my bad. Everybody pick a number, 1 or 2. We're going to start with a channeled message. Okay, cool. Pick a number, 1 or 2. If you picked number 1, be permanently unavailable to anyone who thought you were an option. And number 2, you're only stressing because you haven't given up. A weak individual would have folded by now. Give yourself more credit. 60s. All right, let's get started. Move this down a little bit. Did the VAX cause inflammation in your ankles? What else can you do to heal them? One second. That's better. This to me makes me feel like circulation, like something circulation wise. The Emperor being reversed would make me think vaccine, especially with what he's holding in his hand there. It feels as though there's some circulation issue caused by that. So getting that moving again, it doesn't feel like external movement, it feels like internal movement. So it could be like a detox, it could be like a system reset of some kind. It's like needing to get things flowing again that are stagnant. Last week, difficult conversation with someone I know. You know who the person is, but what's the best way to go about it? There's clarity needed or the tension is going to continue. There's like a cycle that you're stuck in that if the conversation doesn't happen, it's going to continue. It feels like you're going to have to catch this person when, I almost want to say when they're on the go. Like this person maybe when they're kind of focused on something else is when the conversation should kind of begin. So it's not like a, let's sit down and talk about this. It feels like you have to kind of approach it from like an out of the box type of way, not just like sitting down and having a conversation. My husband is planning on retiring in April. Will we be okay financially? This table closer to me. There we go. I feel like he's going to be very bored and out of his element. I feel like it may hit him like boredom wise or like having something to do. That part may hit him a little bit harder than he's expecting. But for finances, I do see a solution coming. So it feels like there's going to be an issue, but then a solution to said issue. But I feel like also at the same time, there's some like stir crazy energy that he's going to be feeling, especially in the beginning. Energy being strongly activated during meditation. Found myself sounding. The sounding helping to integrate the energy. the sounding, is releasing, it's bringing freedom to pain. So it's almost like the vibrations or through meditation, you're transmuting energy that you may not necessarily be able to remember how it got there, but you're still transmuting it. So almost like you're releasing physically the emotions that you can't access internally. Am I on the right path to unblocking my throat and sacral chakras? What else can I do? Throat and sacral. So this is a new beginning for both. It feels as though, because this would be directly throat, it feels like, how do I link this? The heart chakra has part of a blockage in it from the sacral chakra. So needing to heal your heart chakra to get like deeper access to the sacral chakra. Those two are connected. And once you do that, you'll be able to finish the expression that will allow for the throat chakra to upgrade. It feels like throat chakra, you've done a lot of healing. Now it's needing to upgrade, but the upgrade is waiting for the heart to help heal the sacral. So like the sacral, you've done a lot of work on it, but now the heart needs to be healed so the heart can reconnect in that way. And then once you do that, you'll find that you're able to express on a deeper level. Like you're at level 5, right? So as you get to level 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you can express more. So getting into those levels is now like reconnecting the heart chakra. So yes, you're going in the right direction. Can I have specific guidance to finding a job, remote, hybrid, still in education, or another field? I feel like a different field than education. This would be a new beginning. This would be not necessarily having students. This would be a release from your current expectations. Something a new beginning that's drastically different. Breaking out of a cycle. It feels like maybe teaching in a different way or going about it in a way that allows you to earn the money that you're not able to earn in the settings that you were trying to work in previously. So it may not be not teaching, it may just be teaching in a way that you're not doing right now. Like keep going back to online. You said remote or hybrid. It feels like, could you do your own thing where you are the boss of what you're doing? It feels like that is really, yeah, you have more options than you think you do. Think outside of the box with using what you already have, but it could even be like making content or stuff like that to lead people to where you are teaching certain things. You could do like Udemy or some kind of like online program building type class. Will I reincarnate? It almost feels like if your soul has the choice to, that you would rather be a guide or a helper. But it feels like you're going to be continuing on doing something that's important, but it's almost like for others, like a completely selfless task. Yeah, for others, completely selfless task. It's possible, but it looks more like you'd prefer to be like a guide of some sort. Any messages for those who have passed? Somebody's very proud of you for who you're becoming, especially because you did it all on your own and overcame a lot that you shouldn't have been able to overcome. So someone's very proud of you. I'm here helping you, and I had to leave that way. I'll Be Missing You by Diddy and Faith Evans is the song. Am I like really glitchy? I feel like, what's happening? An extended Akashic reading reported I was a secret geometry master in previous lives. How did you relate with? Well, you're right in a way that you're not using it for yet. It honestly feels like it's something that you could do for a career or make a hobby into a career in a way that you're not using it yet. It feels like there is kind of information that's trying to come directly through to you. So just kind of creating the channel for that to happen. This to me is really saying some kind of teaching position. So she's like holding the bird, like kind of like, okay, look, you can fly now, bird. Like it feels like that, like getting yourself very comfortable with the information and then turning around and teaching it in some way or using it to teach something. So it doesn't have to be teaching that directly, but using what you know to guide or teach in some way. They don't seem to have any dreams or desires. Why is this? Because you had disappointments that have subconsciously convinced you that there's no point in having those dreams or desires because it won't turn out that way anyway. So there's a need to kind of remind yourself of your magic, remind yourself that you are able to bring about changes. It feels like a mix between you don't really necessarily all the way trust yourself to continue forward maintaining changes that you've created in your benefit. It's almost like you've convinced yourself that you'll change something for a little bit and then it'll just go backwards. So what's the point? So just needing to kind of establish like steps that you can follow to create changes so you can show yourself that you're capable of maintaining the changes. And that will kind of open up to show you where it would be beneficial to pour more energy into. And it's almost like as you start to see progress, you start to come up with those dreams, goals, and desires. Kind of like flipping it backwards a little bit. Uh-oh. Will my mom be okay in the memory care location? Please pray. I feel like she's not going to necessarily love it. I do feel like she's going to be taken care of, like they're going to be doing what they need to do for her, but I do feel as though there's some resistance that she's not going to necessarily love being there. I feel like she may want to leave, but not because of their treatment. Will everything be okay with my husband and I's trip as far as being safe? Yes, there may be some kind of travel, maybe not delay, complications of some sort, but I don't see any danger because this would be danger out of all of them. So this would be both of you. Feels like you don't put yourself in any situations where there could be any danger. Message from your mom. You're not recognizing how much strain you're putting on yourself by holding on to like a coulda, shoulda, woulda, or something you feel like you didn't do in the way that you now wish it would have been done. And you're not recognizing how much that's causing you to avoid certain emotions. So she's saying, put it down. Like you're too harshly judging yourself. Let yourself feel lighthearted and happy again. My death was painless. Please don't worry or hold onto guilt. And you heard me calling your name. It's almost like she's saying she's been trying to kind of tell you this through signs, like show you where the burden is still so that you can put it down. Oh, Let It Be by the Beatles. She said what she said. Messages from your dad. He's not gone. He's still there with you. There will be a new beginning after this trying time. You're almost to the top of the mountain is what I'm hearing. Oh, see, I'm sending you good luck. I'm so happy here, carefree with no earthly worries. Do you believe in magic by the Lovin' Spoonful? And If You Could Feel My Love by Viox. Messages from your spirit guide. You have something that if you invest it yourself in, it would go better than you anticipate, but you don't have enough energy because you're expending too much energy and not refilling your own cup enough. So there's a need to refill your own cup because that energy is going to be like used to generate forward progress in something that's going to be coming towards you. I keep looking at these cards. Author. You have a book inside of you that wishes to be expressed. Make the time to write it. So that could be literal, or it's just some way of taking what you've gone through and making it into like a path forward here. Page of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. So something practical that you can dedicate yourself to. My uncle and cousin, both named Dennis, passed to the other side. My goodness. Dennis and Dennis. somebody, and I don't tend to necessarily believe it's you, but somebody is trapped in a shoulda, coulda, woulda, or somebody is trapped in a questioning themselves. And essentially the message is that everything happened the way that it needed to happen or it was supposed to happen. And also there, I feel like it's you, this one, but there's someone who keeps getting like a recurring sign, a recurring symbol, maybe like keep seeing the same time on the clock. Like there's something very persistent that one of them is giving as a sign. And it's almost like it's trying to alert to a bigger picture message, whatever that translates to, about something that's going on. Oh yeah, see, I send you loving signs through nature. I was greeted and embraced by family members and friends. So they're together. I feel like it's you, but it may not be. If one of them has a child, it may be their child. Somebody gets recurring signs or symbols or something, and it's the timing of them. They're trying to point out something that's going on around them, I feel. I can't help myself by the Four Tops. Was Maureen an imaginary friend, guardian angel, or guide? So a guide that was specifically, I feel like either you were going through something at the time or someone around you was going through something at the time. It's like you didn't have necessarily the support that you needed from someone around you. So this guide stepped in to help try and teach you ways to emotionally support yourself, I almost want to say, before you, until you could have external support. So a guide. I mean, I guess you could say guardian angel too, but it feels more like I'm guiding you to show you a tool to use because you need this tool right now because something's going on. Will my son win in court? Do we have an answer for the son winning in court or not? Will he win in court? He will not win in court? Will he not necessarily lose, just not win? What does that mean? Yeah, it's like he's not going to necessarily win, but he's not going to necessarily lose. I don't know what kind of court case it is, so I don't know what that translates to. Why? It feels like something in discovery, I want to say, that he's not expecting to have to counterbalance or something right now. There's like something he doesn't see coming that comes up, but it's not necessarily a loss either, but it's not necessarily a win. It may be that there ends up being some kind of appeal or some kind of like second, okay, this didn't go the way I thought the first time, so let me go back. I don't know. There's some like second step to it. So the first step is like not win and not loss, and then how he handles the second step will determine if it ends up being like a loss or like a not win, not loss. A Metatronus plan for me. Any insight on plans? It feels like channeling abilities or gifts coming in, specifically with I almost want to say like people that you know or that you've invested in knowing about on the other side, those conversations leading up to like conversations with ascended masters or like channeling with ascended masters. So it's like I guess you'd say like testing the waters on those who you would know how they would respond, right? So if you have someone who's passed on the other side and you're channeling their energy and you get responses that you're like, okay, that sounds like them. It's like building up that so that you can channel directly to those who have the plans for you, if that makes sense. So I guess the answer is like an increase in certain abilities to which you can then kind of call in, okay, now I can do this. What should I do with it? What is my next move? So you have a new beginning coming because you're detaching from something that can't come with you. So your next move isn't necessarily where am I going? Your next move is what can't come with me. So really the next move is getting very clear about what it is that you want to experience, see, or do, and then figure out what in your life is not a vibrational match to that happening. After you do that, the next steps will kind of unfold naturally. It feels like there's a need to have some kind of important conversation with someone that opens the door to either leaving someone where they need to be in the past or opens the door to someone assisting you in the next step to move forward. What is my spirit guide's name? Do we have a name for the spirit guide? No name for the spirit guide? Not going to get a name, but I can get personality. Magician, Wheel of Fortune, and Death. 3 major arcana. So you have a spirit guide who's trying to help you open up your abilities in channeling so that you can bring through you something that's going to benefit those around you as well as yourself. There is forward progress that comes from learning how to communicate with said spirit guide. So think of the spirit guide that you're thinking of is the one that's trying to help you learn how channeling works for you and then will hand you through channeling something you can birth into the world that benefits those around you. That's kind of the reason for that spirit guide. Planning to have a religious wedding ceremony this week. You see it happening. Do we have an answer for the wedding ceremony? Is something still up in the air right now? Is the timing not right for this year? Is it going to be this year? It's not going to be this year. I feel like it's still up in the air, okay? I feel like it can be this year, but I also feel like there's going to be something that threatens to hold it back or that could potentially hold it back. And I almost want to say it's something either vendor, venue, or travel related or something like that. Like not you and your partner. It would be something with like the scheduling of someone involved. I feel like it's possible, but there's also going to be a challenge there that either delays it or makes you have to change things kind of last minute. So it may be that at that point you say, okay, this is too frustrating, let's wait a little bit. Or you could still go through that. I feel like it's going to be your choice, but there's going to be some kind of hurdle. Do my spirit guides and mom have any messages for me? Child, mom. There's something that you are meant to be investing yourself in that could pay off big time when it comes to either something that you enjoyed during childhood, something that you were interested in during childhood. It's almost like they're saying you have this key. You just need to find the right door to put it in. And then there's like a lot on the other side of the door. It's almost like you're about to level up in some big way, but you need to put the key in the door. So they're trying to alert you that you have the key. There's no such thing as death, and the earth is our school of lessons. I'm glad I got to experience so many wonderful things. You Are the Sunshine of My Life by Stevie Wonder is the song. I'm only going to stay in for about an hour today, and then I'm going to do an hour later in the week, just so you guys know, because my jaw is a little sore. Creating an Etsy shop tonight and posting my jewelry products and insight to success or advice. There's something, I almost want to say it's like something in the planning or the strategy that needs to be tweaked a little bit. Action taken, it feels like think bigger. I'm almost getting like TikTok shop reference, or like looking at the Etsy shop as a good first step, but not planning on stopping there, planning on kind of making it a little bit wider of a perspective. So I almost feel like you could even do like even if you wanted to do like a faceless account to connect with your audience on like TikTok, and then do TikTok shop as well. It feels like you're at the correct the right first step, but don't get too comfortable just stopping at that step. Look at other ways to kind of drive in more traffic, I guess I'd say. It's the fact that no part-timers have contracts to be an important fact for me to bring up in tribunal. Is the fact that no part-timers have contracts an important fact for me to bring up in tribunal? Yes and no. Is it a good point to bring up? Yes. But could it be that they kind of shush that part away because it's a bigger issue that will open the door to things that they might not want to discuss? Yes. So it feels like it may not have the effect that you believe it's going to, but it does also still feel like it's a good and valid point to have in there. I guess I'd say just don't expect them to see it the way that you see it because they're trying to quiet it down, that part. Will my husband ever get recognized for all the great work he does at his job? It's like somebody else doesn't want him to get recognized. They're trying to keep almost like if he is the kind of person who he could take his boss's job if his boss wasn't there. It feels like that. Someone who wants to keep him small because they don't want him to be a better fit for their position than they are. Yeah, look at that. It feels like if that person that's bringing the drama or the lack of recognition, it feels like if that person goes away, there's a likelihood for him to be recognized. But it feels like, look at that, like someone's trying to block people from seeing his value. This is drama. This is value. And this is like, don't compete where you can't compare. So it feels like somebody is scared of him taking their position. So they're trying to make it so that he's kind of in the corner as quiet as possible so that that doesn't happen. Is it okay for me to take medication for ADD? Would ADD medication help? So, yes and no. Is it going to help the things ADD wise that you're like, I don't want to deal with this. I wish this was less of a problem? Yes. But is it also going to kind of disconnect you from your emotions in some way? Yes. So if you do decide to take it, make sure that you're still processing feelings and emotions and not numbing them. It really could go either way. It's just making sure that you're checking in with yourself and not numbing so much and then disconnecting from it. Um, or like, okay, I feel better in this regard, so I'm going to ignore these emotions. It's like, don't let things pile up, is essentially this, because there's a higher potential for emotional self sabotage by avoiding and numbing when you're on the medication. So it's not that you can't take it, but just needing to be mindful of that potentially happening. Adopted at birth. Should we try to locate his birth family? It feels like it would be a lot of work on your part and his part, almost like maybe they want it to stay hidden. Ten of Pentacles is the family, but it's coming out in reverse. Page of Wands is also coming out in reverse, so this would be exploration. So it feels like a lot of effort and not being met with receiving arms, almost like, okay, I rather would have hid, but you found me type energy. So there may be benefits depending on what he's trying to get out of it. I would say just it may not be that he's very well received when he does locate them. Almost like like standoffish energy or avoidance or something along those lines that he may be met with if he does find them. Who is my spirit guide and their message? There's a need to make some kind of change of where you're investing your it's like needing to pour into yourself, but also being mindful about where you're investing your emotions. It feels like your emotional intelligence is causing you to be a little bit unhappy because you're over analyzing certain situations that are kind of beyond your control. So it feels like needing to find something outside of yourself to attach yourself to have something to look forward to would be very beneficial. I'm getting a strong feminine energy for your guide, specifically in times of frustration or self-doubt, or like when things aren't going your way. It's almost like you can feel that feminine energy pour in from this guide, trying to kind of almost teach you how to nurture yourself or reparent yourself in some way. Love to hear from my mom if she have a message for me. She knows that you feel tired of continuing to fight what seems like a losing battle, but you're doing better than you're giving yourself credit for, even if you don't see the outside changes. And there's a need to, just like I just said in the last one, kind of attach yourself to something that gives you something to look forward to. Almost like your attention and focus is on making sure that everybody else is okay and you've forgotten about yourself. So needing to give yourself more credit, really. I am not dead and I'm so much better now. Blackbird by the Beatles is the song. What has changed that I'm not a lot calmer now? Not a lot calmer. You called in or put the intention for an opportunity to elevate on your spiritual path. So it's almost like, it's really cold out and you start a car, so the car warms up. Certain things that were buried within you are being warmed up so that they can be released. So you can call in certain opportunities so that you can release things that were buried so that you can ascend, because it's like cutting the weight of what was holding you down. So it's like you called in elevation in your life and there wasn't enough going on at the time so that you could overcome it, so that you could elevate. So it's kind of that. It's like things, the car of your emotions warming up. Will my son Luke find his soul family, and if so, how soon? Yes, because he has or he will, it feels like he has learned how to walk away from people who just hurt him, or he's not in need of calling in someone who's going to be a repeat of a lesson that he's already learned. I would say within the next 9 to 18 months is really the time frame that I'm getting. And it feels like there's one person in particular that comes in as like a best friend, or like a mirror of his healing, like someone who mirrors back to him the healing that he's had, specifically from relationships. Hold On, We're Going Home by Pia Mia just started playing. So Soul Family, Hold On, We're Going Home. Yeah, he finds it someone who helps him elevate in some way. My friend only gets in touch when it suits her. Should I just walk away? Oh, I saw that card flip over. That's yes, and not really even just because of that, more so because this person is projecting their own, like the reason they only pop up when they need something or when it suits them is because those are the moments when they need to project how they're feeling to see it in action. So it's not healthy for you to basically be this person's projector screen so they can see how they're feeling about themselves, because they don't know how to process it by themselves. So it's an imbalanced, toxic connection that you should probably defend yourself from it spilling onto you. Hard for him to rest. Yeah, that makes sense. Needs to find a hobby so that the need to rest doesn't or the need to do something doesn't overwhelm him. Like something he doesn't do now to pique his interest and keep his mind intellectually stimulated. I feel like that's what it is. It's not necessarily busybodying himself, his mind. It's an intellectual stimulation that he gets very bored. What direction should I go with my career? I saw these cards in my mind's eye when I read that. Health, activation, and student. It feels like taking a turn in a direction that you're not in right now. Learning something new. I'm getting the image of like a hot air balloon getting ready to take off, but needing to cut the strings of what's holding it down. It feels like there's a little bit of needing to allow yourself to be a beginner at something. It's almost like you're trying to stick to what you know because you don't want to be a beginner in some way. But if you let yourself be a beginner in that way, it would open up a bigger door for you. So don't be afraid to try something a little bit out of the box and be a beginner at it. Clarity if I'm doing the right thing moving forward. Big yes, walking away from something unfulfilling, reprioritizing or bringing balance to the flow. And this would be the truth of a new beginning that's going. So walking away from something unfulfilling is the truth. You're walking away from something unfulfilling, or you're making some kind of change that will align you with a breakthrough because you walked away from something unfulfilling. So yes. Oh, and the Lovers was flipped over. So that would be the choice that you're making being the right choice. Oh, and the song that came on was Peace by OAR. So another confirmation. Did Lisa really run away, or is there more to it? Both. I guess I'd say both. Yes, ran away, but because there's something going on. Or yes, left, but because there's something going on. Some kind of, from this Queen of Pentacles in reverse energy, causing a lot of overwhelm, stress, anxiety because of something that they're doing behind the scenes. This is like, I just couldn't take it anymore type energy. Hermit on the bottom of the deck. It feels like there was a decision made to try and get away from something that was going on. Oops, where did I go? Will the medical treatment I am receiving finally heal my medical condition? So, medical treatment. It feels like what's going to happen is you're going to be able to get on a routine or get on some kind of program that gradually makes small changes that allow for lasting change. So it feels like it's not necessarily going to be anything quick, but it feels like there is a piece of what you're dealing with that's going to be completely healed, but it also feels like there's still going to be something that's not all the way healed but is manageable or maintainable, because you get clarity on what could be done differently based off of what arises from the treatment. So fully heal, I don't know if I'd say fully. There's a piece of it that fully heals, but there's a piece that gets better, but still needs some kind of like consistent like action or check-in or something like that. So fully, no, I would say one part of it will fully heal, and one part is anywhere from like a 60 to an 80. The part that needs some kind of change, or Praying by Kesha is the song that came on. So I feel like there's a part, the 60 to 80, it's almost like that's tied to a spiritual or emotional wound. And as you heal that, you heal the physical as well. Is there a message from my son, Kelly? Yes. He wants you to put the heavy burden down. I almost want to say forgive yourself, or be easier on yourself. It's like you're trapped in, almost like you want to find fault in yourself so that you can process emotions that you otherwise can't understand. But he's saying that he's there with you, trying to help you process these things, and to, I really want to say forgive yourself. Yeah, like stop fighting against yourself. Everything happened as it needed to. When you are missing me the most, cardinals fly around. So he's sending you some kind of signs, and don't be afraid. I'll be there to hold your hand every step of the way. I feel like that's when you process emotions that he'll be there with you. Oh, Happy Together by the Turtles. Mm. I don't know where I was. Oh. Trying to reach my mom and dad. They've been dead for a while, Jack and Amy. There's a need to I just want to say, like, they're trying to communicate with you. They're trying to allow you to receive comfort from them, but there's like a mindset or belief that's kind of blocking that from happening. There's some kind of transition that's happening in your life right now that's in your favor, but it's also scaring you. And they're trying to comfort you through that. There's also, I was going to say one particular conversation that you're replaying or you have replayed for a while. And it's like, it's almost like you feel like looking back, you feel like maybe you weren't received or understood in the way that you were intending something to be said. And they're saying that they understood it correctly. Like they understood it how you meant it to be. So there's no need to kind of juggle with it. Kind of the message is like release yourself from what you've been carrying for a while. It is beautiful where I am, and remember me by the happy memories that we've created. Save the Last Dance for Me by the Drifters. Yeah, you're about to like enter into a whole new chapter. It's almost like you're resisting change because you feel like you're leaving the energy behind of you when they were still in your life, but they're coming with you for the new change. Oh, and Flying Without Wings by Ruben Studdard is the next song that came on. Should my spiritual mission include spiritual books for children? Yes, spiritual, childlike mindset. And I feel like it would go well. Celebration, community. So it does feel like you know a good way to communicate spiritual concepts to the community of children. So yes. Will my two younger sons ever learn to drive? I feel like there's going to be some issue here or some struggle. Not that it's not possible, but it feels like either they're going to have to work a little harder in some areas of it. Oh, they're not both on the same page. I feel like eventually, yeah, one before the other. Almost like one has anxiety about it really bad or fears about it really bad. There's something that needs to be overcome, but it is possible. I feel like one a little bit before the other, though. Does my dog Gypsy have at least a year left? Do we have a timing answer for Gypsy? Does she have at least a year left to live? Under a year? Around the year mark, like give or take around the year mark? Gypsy around a year. I'm getting around a year. I would say 6 months to a year. And it feels like this is a decision that you make to have to put her down eventually rather than her just going on her own, because this is a card representing choice, and then this would be like no more forward progress. Any message from my sister Mary? She's trying to point out to you some kind of option that you have that you're not seeing, that almost like a little bit of self-sabotage that she's trying to help you overcome, because she understands the mindset that you're harboring that's causing the subconscious self-sabotage. So she's there supporting you through some kind of change that would benefit you. You have nothing to feel guilty about, and I have reassured you for comfort. Oh, okay, there's two songs because I heard that one. Sugar, Sugar by the Archies and Don't Stop Believing by Journey. I'm going to stay on for 5 more minutes. Do I have any spiritual gifts? Okay, so channeling, but it feels like there needs to be healing. It feels like really clairaudience, so being able to audibly hear or even pick up on, so you like channeling through music, channeling through, you're walking down the street and you're having a thought in your mind and then you just happen to hear somebody else say something that either gives you information or clarifies it. It's like using the audio to start to draw in channeled information, and that can kind of coincide with like channeled writing, stream of consciousness writing, to clarify what you're receiving audibly, or channeling something and then asking for audible confirmation of it. So you can use music or you can use channeled audio. But it feels like something that would really help increase that is listening to audio that is specifically meant to call in those things. So like meditation and that kind of stuff to increase audible channeling. What is my soul's purpose? To take what pain you've been through at the hands of those who should have supported you and didn't, and use that specific energy to create something out of, right? So see, all the swords are stabbing down. This is all the pain, betrayal, sabotage. if you put this cloth over this, you don't see that anymore, and you can line the cups on top. You're quite literally transmuting what you've been through at the hands of others and making something lasting that brings in joy and fulfillment out of it. Must I include a beginner level in my spiritual mission curriculum? Must you? No. May it hold you up in some ways that it wouldn't hold you up if you did offer it? Yes. Almost like connecting with the certain clientele that isn't ready for something that's not beginning. Like it may draw more people in. Especially when it comes to connecting to your audience or clientele, like the beginner step is a good first step to draw people in, and without it, you'll have to find a different way to replace drawing those certain people in. So you know, but would it be beneficial? Yes, I would say from 1 to 10, 10 being the most beneficial. I feel like it'd be like a 6, 6 out of 10 beneficial wise. Is there anything health-wise you should pay attention to? Trying to do some kind of preventative measurements so that something that you already dealt with in the past doesn't come back. This to me feels like anxiety or something like that. Like something in like the emotional, mental health wise. Almost like taking care of that so that if anything else arises, it doesn't become a bigger issue than need be. I'm not seeing necessarily anything other than an issue from the past possibly resurfacing if you're not doing those like check-ins with yourself to keep things flowing. And I feel like a sign of that for you is headaches or like neck shoulder tension. Like when you start to feel that, it means that whatever from the past has a higher likelihood of coming back at that time because you're holding on to that stress physically, if that makes sense. Is my current romantic relationship hurting or helping my recovery? Current romantic relationship hurting or helping my recovery? Both. It's letting you feel like there's someone there that's supporting you, but in the same token, it may be that you're relying on that support instead of being that support for yourself. But at the same time, having the support is allowing you to release certain things that you wouldn't be able to release without support. So it really feels like the answer is both, because it could turn into your healing linked to this person, almost like codependency in, okay, now if I lose this person, all that healing goes out the window because I healed because of them. So be careful not to associate any progress that you're making to this person, because it's not them that's making the progress, it's you. So I would say needing to rely a little bit more on yourself for certain things that you're right now relying on the person for, would be the only thing you need to be mindful of here, is anything turning into emotional codependency that makes you depend more on them than on your own support. So a little bit of both, I guess I'd say. Messages from Aunt Kathy. Oh, there's Aunt Kathy. Oh, there's Aunt Kathy. And there's you. There's a need to process certain emotions so that when a shadow wound comes to the surface, it doesn't affect you more than it needs to. There's an emotional pebble that you've been kind of sweeping under the rug, and it's almost like you're gonna potentially trip over the pebble, or you could just reach under and remove the pebble by processing the emotions. So needing to let yourself feel something that you've been avoiding that may be keeping you a little stuck. Oh, I said pebble. Pearls. I'm not dead. I'm alive in everything. Energy constantly flowing. Wouldn't It Be Nice by the Beach Boys is the song. I was on workers' comp for 3 weeks and not getting paid at my normal job. Will I be able to pay my bills and live off the money I make with my Etsy shop? Or otherwise in the meantime? Not immediately. There's a hurdle to be overcome before that can happen. And with the Queen of Wands in reverse, it feels like needing to, I think I said this the last time, but like widen the audience or something along those lines. Not quickly, but then something happens that breaks free from strings that were holding you back where it can be possible. But it all depends on connecting to that wider audience in a bigger way. So focusing on that part. My daughter loves acting. It will be a successful career for her. So yes, but I feel like what is going to bring about the success is some kind of role in which either it's a difficult role for her that requires her to step outside of her comfort zone, or the role that leads to or opens the door for some kind of success is like a very emotional or like a sad character role. So, but I also do feel as though with these two double meaning, I feel like this is 3, this is 5. So there's a step missing in between. I feel like there is some kind of heartache or heartbreak in the career field, like something she hopes is going to happen doesn't happen. Like there's something not great, and then it propels her to push into a role that may be a little bit outside of her comfort zone, and that is what opens the door. So there's something disappointing that leads to stepping out of a comfort zone that leads to eventual success. Ready, Set, Don't Go by Billy Ray Cyrus. She's got dreams too big for this town, and she's going to give it a shot, or the words that just came after I finished saying that to you. Is my family that passed around me, and who? We have a Queen of Wands here. I feel like there's a Queen of Wands and a masculine energy who's not younger than the Queen of Wands, but maybe is a little bit more goofy or a little bit more playful. There's definitely two people here that are guiding you forward together to maneuver around an obstacle when it comes to your emotions or when it comes to flowing prosperity. This would be you. I almost wonder if this is a mother figure or a grandmother spirit orb. So you kind of felt their presence or you've seen their presence. Changes by David Bowie. So that would be about going around that obstacle. Is the fear and mistrust of people I have from a past life or a result of this life? Both. It started in a past life. Like things that you weren't able to fully resolve in a past life resurfaced in this life to be addressed from a different perspective. Almost like you called into yourself opportunities to handle situations in this life better than you felt like you handled them in a previous life. So you are breaking out of toxic cycles, but also at the same time reliving certain experiences so that you can do them in a different way. So both, but the start of it is from a past life, but that past life has had certain elements replay in this life. What is my gift and how do I use it? So it's like you are able to directly channel information. Okay, so this is like coming straight in from the crown chakra. This is independence. And see, like the little birdies hold me. It feels like to access and to integrate the gifts that you do have, it's coming through reconnecting with your inner child. And right now, either you've been working on healing and reconnecting with your inner child, or that's what needs to happen to allow this channeling to come through. It feels like really what this is saying to me is directing, like direct channeling. So you're able to kind of just sit and either use tarot, use tools, call for an audio, or focus on like closing your eyes and asking for a visual. Like you are able to just call in what you need to channel, but it comes through creatively reconnecting with your inner child. So focusing on generating energy to your sacral chakra is what allows you to channel information. Any guidance from my grandmother? It's like you need to find a way to either talk to someone that you trust. It's like you're needing to bounce ideas off of someone else so that you can see yourself in action, so that you can see that you have a key in order to move forward in some direction. Because you have it, you're just not seeing it, if that makes sense. Can You Feel the Love Tonight by Elton John? I'm sorry, I should have done more and been there for you. And when you speak to me out loud or in your thoughts, I hear you. Oh, I said bounce your ideas off of someone. Maybe her. But I also feel like it's someone in the 3D. Talk to her about how to talk to the person, and she'll help you get in the right mindset to bounce ideas off of someone, if that makes sense. Is my granddaughter in a safe environment now? Her mom's boyfriend has moved in. Safe, I would say not unsafe in terms of physical. I would say less attention, less support, maybe a little bit of pulling back from the amount of care that she was previously given. I'm not seeing unsafe, but I am seeing something emotionally becoming affected because of the boyfriend. Almost like there's a halt to some kind of affection that was previously being given because attention is now split. More of like like avoidance, like I'm just not getting what I was getting before in terms of support, or I'm not feeling as supported. Do you see my husband's cousin paying off the student loan he got for him sometime within this year? Do we have an answer for the student loan? Husband's cousin paying off the loan. Will the cousin pay off this loan? Will it be this year in 2024? Will it be around a year or more? Will it be not in one lump sum? It feels like it's going to be kind of trickling in and not necessarily going to be paid off by this year, but I do think you'll get something towards it. But I don't believe it's going to be all of it. Almost like he's avoiding or going to start avoiding your husband to try and buy time. 9 of Swords on the bottom of the deck. It feels like there's something he's struggling with right now, the cousin. So it feels like it's going to trickle in, but not as fast as you would like. I'm going to do 2 more. Do I have any spiritual gifts? For some reason, YouTube does not change your start time from your time zone to the viewers. Oh, that's weird. Does not change. Oh, so like it says 10:10 a.m. in every time zone, even though it's 10:10 a.m. in my time zone. Do I have any spiritual gifts? You're able to connect with your angels, ancestors, and guides. It feels like specifically your ancestors. Clear feelings. So you get clear feelings, intuitive insight about things, and then you can ask for a confirmation specifically from your ancestors until you get comfortable with like different ways of channeling. So you feel something, right? And you're like, okay, I feel like that was a channeled feeling. I feel like that was placed in me to give me information. So then you say, ancestors, can I have this sign if that's correct, right? So it can be looking at a song, asking for something like let me see, a red truck, something like that, like until you build up the confidence in what you're already doing in terms of channeling, because it does feel like there's an open channel. It's just needing to learn how to use it, if that makes sense. So clear feeling, you get intuitive feelings about information. Yes, thank you to my mods. I appreciate all of you. I'm actually going to do a mods live. I don't know. I have to figure out how to do that. Maybe I'll do it on Zoom or something. I don't know how else I could control that it's just mods, but I will let you know soon. I'm going to do one more. I don't know where I was. Oh, your mom listened to the Four Tops. Does my guide have a message for me? Either a truth is coming out soon or you're going to learn a truth soon that's going to help you move forward. Like this is walking away from something unfulfilling, and this is like head is bound, hands are bound, feet are bound. You're kind of stuck, but you're going to soon be able to walk away or move forward because of something slicing through in terms of truth. It feels like you're going to be soon learning a big truth about your life path or truth that opens up knowledge to your life path. Oh, yeah, something major pouring into you soon. Nope, that wasn't the deck I wanted. Earth Star activation, anchoring, grounded action. And this is a Merkaba. So you're learning something soon about your life path that's going to help you move forward. All right, everyone, I'm going to hop off. I'm going to do another members live later in the week. I just don't know which day yet. And I have a regular live scheduled for tomorrow. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming, and I will see you soon.